Okay, this is Eric Samuels, Director of Continuum of Care Programs at Texas Homeless Network. And if you're watching this recording, you are volunteering on the survey, the 2012 Point in Time Count and Survey, then you'll be administering the survey. So let's go over the survey instrument. And to begin with, let me just thank you for your service. This is very important. It's very helpful to communities to get this information on an annual basis, and it's also helpful to us at the state level, just for planning purposes and also for applying to HUD for additional funding to improve services and increase services and shelter to move people out of homelessness. So first of all, this point-in-time survey is called Everyone Counts, so you can refer to it as that when you're out doing your survey. And to begin with, just get an idea of how you're going to introduce yourself. I have an introductory script here that you can use. I would like for you to read it over. You should be given a copy of this, but read it over a few times and then make it your own. Make sure you point out a few things to everyone. Make sure that everyone knows this is an anonymous survey. It's strictly voluntary. They don't have to answer any question on the survey, and if they want to skip any one question, they are certainly welcome to do that. Just really stress the confidentiality of this because it truly is confidential. We're just going to aggregate their information into a community report and later a statewide report. Ask them if they've already taken the survey so we don't have people take the survey more than once. We also have questions that will help eliminate duplicates. But definitely ask them, and then ask them if they have the time to take it. If they don't have the time to take it, or they don't want to take it, or the situation is a little unsafe, then use the checkbox that's provided in the upper left-hand corner of the survey. And do that because every survey is going to count for a person or a household. So it's very important that you do that and you turn in those surveys that may only have that completed. Because we do use that in our reporting. Now let me go to the survey itself. And there is the checkbox I'm talking about. So what you would do in this case, if someone doesn't want to take the survey, you would check this, and you'd go and try to record their gender, their race, and the number of people with them. If you can, the number of adults and the number of children. That's very important when we're coming up with the total number of people accounted for in the survey. But if you do have people to take the survey, and people will like to take the survey, most people do, and they actually, I think, somewhat enjoy it sometimes. So surveys can take a long time. They can be a shorter in duration with other people. Make sure you list your name, person completing the survey, or your initials, that's fine. List your city and the street address or approximate. If you're at a domestic violence shelter, please obviously don't leave the street address. Just write DV or something right like that there. As you're going through, a lot of these questions are basic demographic questions, so they're questions people are used to answering. But the first question, a lot of people have asked questions about it, and if someone asks you why we ask for the last 4 digits of their social, you can tell them the only reason we do that is so we can make sure that they haven't already taken the survey at another time. We use those last 4 digits to deduplicate data. So you can just tell them that. Get their birth date, so we get their age, and we get average age out of that. Where they spent last night, make sure that you read this list to them and they can choose what best fits. That will help us determine whether or not they fit into the HUD definition of homelessness. 4, 5, and 6 is gender, race, and ethnicity. And please ask these as they're written. These are the questions as they're written as requested by HUD. So the format of these questions does come from HUD. This particular question, 5, there are other questions like this. These are check all that apply questions or multiple response questions. So a person can be more than one race obviously, so you need to be able to check more than one box on this, and just pay attention to those questions. On 7, we ask about their family or household situation. If the person indicates they're single, you will skip ahead to question 11. So look out for those questions as well, questions that, depending on how you answer, will lead you to skip a few questions. If they are part of a family or they have people with them currently, you will continue down and ask them 8, 9, and 10. And on 8, we're trying to get an idea of the number of people. So if you do have 2 heads of households, it's probably a good idea just to encourage them to fill out one survey for their entire household. So we're not counting people twice. But if they both take the survey, say a husband and wife, have the children only counted once. There are some other questions about the children. We ask if they're enrolled in school, and if so, did someone help them? We're trying to get a better idea if the homeless liaisons at the school helped. We ask them if what resources they need, what their children need. Then 11, 12, and 13 are all questions about military service and veteran status. Please ask these questions, and again, if you come to a question like 11 and they say no, then you will skip down to 14. So pay attention to those questions. Get to know the survey to really help you navigate it with a client. Number 14, how long have you been homeless? Please fill this out to the best of your ability and ask folks that you're interviewing to be as accurate as possible, because we really do want to get the number of days if possible. We're trying to identify those that have been homeless for a very short amount of time, in addition to everyone else, so we can get the average length of homelessness, but also determine those that have just fallen into homelessness, so we can in turn determine an annualized homeless estimate. Number 15, we ask what best describes their current situation. I'll read this off to them and they can choose the one that fits best. 17 through 19 ask questions about duration of homelessness and where people became homeless. 20, basically what you're going to do with this is go down the list, go down all the reasons someone could become homeless and all the reasons they remain homeless, and basically ask them to say yes or no to each, and you check the boxes that fit. 21, shelter and housing. Ask folks what their shelter and housing needs are, and then ask them what they're receiving. It's possible someone may need emergency shelter and they'll be receiving it, or they may need transitional housing but they're receiving emergency shelter. So there's a lot of variation here, but this is need and receive, so just read down the list for both. You ask people about their educational attainment, tell them to choose the highest level that they have attained. Then 23, ask folks if they're able to work, and if so, ask questions 24 through 26. If not, go down to 27. These are questions about job status, hours they work for pay, and if they're unemployed, how long they've been unemployed. And then 27, these are all of the reasons that the person is not working. So it could be more than one reason, so it is a check all that apply question. On 28, we're not asking necessarily how much their employer income is, or employee income is, but that is one of the parts to it. But we're asking them how much income they receive during a month and where it comes from. So again, ask them to be as specific as possible, and we will total this up and aggregate it for each community. But we do like to see the different places where people received income. 29, this is a check all that apply. You're asking folks if they received treatment or services for any of those conditions in the past or now. And then 30, you're asking if they've been in an institution where they've received any of these treatments, or if they've been in jail or prison. If they answer well, if they check any of these boxes, then you answer 31 and 32. If they don't, then you immediately go to 33. 31 and 32 are questions that get at the discharge planning efforts for those types of institutions. 33 is a question about medical insurance, ask folks if they have it, and if they do, what kind. Then 34 through 37, we're asking about healthcare needs. So basically, we ask folks if they've needed a certain type of health care, dental care, mental health care, or substance abuse treatment. And if so, were they able to receive it? And if they were, where? So these are all very similar questions, but very important questions. So please go down that list and administer those questions to respondents. Then 38, our final question, we're asking respondents what their needs are and what they receive. So this is a list of services that they can tell you that they need and or that they're receiving. So I would just go down, ask them if they need job training and placement, and then if they say yes, ask them, well, do you receive it? And then you check yes or no to that, or just check if they say yes, and just go down the list that way. We try to make the survey as easy to administer as possible and as easy to understand as possible, so we hope it is, and we hope that after you reviewed it a few times, you really get to know it and you can navigate it easily. Make sure, of course, after you've conducted the survey, to thank people for their time and tell them it's very important for the community, because it is very important that they are participating. Just make sure to record everything very clearly on the sheet, right, as clearly as you can, and then turn in your survey to whoever's coordinating it locally. So they can, in turn, collect all the surveys and deliver them to THM. So thank you for your volunteer service, and good luck, and I hope the point in time count goes well in your community.